All right. Welcome to Sideboardmtg. My name's Eric, and it's time for Subscriber Sunday. Hope you guys like the show. Hope you guys like the show tonight. If you do, give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, you want to become a subscriber, it's easy. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button down there, and I guess it should be around the bottom right-hand corner somewhere. It'll let you subscribe to the channel. It'll let you know when I'm streaming if you hit that notification bell. Also, if you would like to support the channel, there's a number of ways you could do it, either by donating during a live chat, or if you would like to, you could pledge on patreon.com. Either way, if you do like tonight's show, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Give these guys some love for the decks that they make. And if you're already a subscriber and you want to get in on Subscriber Sunday, then get over to our subreddit, r/sideboardmtg. Post your deck, and then from there, if it gets enough votes, then we'll play it on Subscriber Sunday. Pretty straightforward. That's kind of how Magic channels do it. Anyway, I hope you guys do like this. We're gonna have a lot of fun with the decks that we've got picked out tonight. The first one we've got picked out is by Dragon Lord. I've pulled this deck up a few times here in the past, and we kind of looked over it a little bit. I really wanted to see some silhouettes in it, and I think Dragon Lord said that he opted to get rid of a couple of the ops and maybe even a Mox Amber or so. And we're gonna look at the deck, the original deck that I was sent. We're gonna play it and look at it. It's a Super Friends deck, Esper. So that is black, white, and blue. We've got all the lands for it here. Dragon Skull Summits, Fetid Pools, Glacial Fortress, Irrigated Farmlands, and then of course we've got Isolated Chapels and such. So the land base should be fairly smooth. I haven't really looked at the land base very much, but it looks like all the right components are there. I don't know if it needs to be tailored a little bit in one direction or another, but yeah, new layout, guys. I've got this layout and I've got my arena layout, and now I've got everything together in one area. So if I want to switch to arena, we just switch to arena. Magic the Gathering arena. We can do some stuff like that. No biggie. Anyway, just thought that I would try to spice things up a little bit here for Dominaria, and try to keep things fresh for you guys. Or I'm sure you're tired of looking at the Watley background anyway. So and I've seen some of these new cutouts and stuff that Wizards of the Coast supplied to streamers and stuff, and I was like, some of those are kind of nice. I think I can work with that. I think I can use it. So that's what we've got going on here. Let me fix chat just a hair here. Bam. We'll stop it about, I don't know, right there. Either way, I hope you guys do like the layout. Justin likes it. He likes it. Let me get a couple shout outs. We'll talk a little bit more about Dragon Lord's deck, and we'll kind of go from there. So Justin, of course, welcome. For the Horde, how you doing? David Blank, welcome, sir. Looks like a new name there. RazorAxis, dude, we're playing one of your decks tonight. I'm glad you can make it, man. We're playing your, I think yours is Hell's Forest, right? Hell's Forest, a bunch of Knights, Elves, Jadelight Rangers, Moment of Craving. I'm not a real big fan of Walk the Plank. I think like maybe cast out, or not cast out, but what's the black one? I think that there's some other cards that we might want to play instead of Walk the Plank. I don't like the Sorcery Speed or the double black. But hey, we'll give it a try. We'll see what's going on with it. The Wall, stopping in early, man. You did get in here very early, waiting on everyone. Thanks for being part of the early squad. And if I didn't get a call out for you, hey, just let me know, and I'll give you a shout out there if I can catch it. David said he just got back from draft, went 3-0 with black-green Sporling, got a Karn first pick. I bet you did first pick Karn, right? Cast Down, absolutely. That's the card I was talking about, the Wall. Anyway, we've got Mox Amber's Op, Search for Iscanta, and Treasure Map for your draw, your sifting through your deck and stuff like that. So you know, your scries and stuff. We've got all of that. Now, up on the higher end of the curve, and not very high, the deck kind of tops out at 5, so we're not really going crazy on the high end of the curve. We've got Histories of Benalia, card that we have seen just do phenomenal things. We've got a singleton copy of Gideon, and then we have 2 copies of Danitha. Danitha is pretty cool. First strike, vigilance, lifelink, aura, and equipment spells you cost 1 less to cost 1 less to cast. Now that's just really going to make our Oath of Teferi a little bit cheaper. No, that actually doesn't make. What are we making cheaper here? What aura or equipment are we trying to make cheaper here with Danitha? Danitha is just a first strike vigilant lifelinker for 3 in this deck, I believe. She is a knight, so there's some synergy there with history. Personally, though, I would rather just have the white knight, maybe, or the black knight. Yeah, have the black knight, because, you know, you would have white permanents. We've got a bunch of white permanents, so maybe the black knight would be better than Danitha if we're just looking for first strike or something. But the vigilance lifelink's really good as well. And we'll look at the sideboard again. Maybe he's got something slipped in over there that I didn't see, but for the most part, I'm not really interested in Danitha if we're not getting any value out of her. I don't think that paying 3 mana for first strike vigilance lifelink's where we want to be. So if you are there, Dragon Lord, let me know what your real thoughts were on why Danitha. Maybe you have some reasonings or a matchup or something that you think could be really good. Yeah, lifelink can be really big, but we're not really buffing her. We're not making her very large at all. So that worries me. Now, Shala, Voice of Plenty here. Now, this card, so personally, I think Shala, Voice of Plenty should be Lyra. Just because, like, casting green in this deck is going to be nigh impossible. Now, we're going to be able to do it if we have Treasure Map and Mox out, but double green is going to be really hard to get, as we're probably only going to have one Mox. Works with Vile Offering. Okay, well, Yawgmoth's Vile Offering is a great card. It's 5 mana, and you put up to 1 target creature or planeswalker from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and you get to destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, and then you exile Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. So crazy card, and but yeah, I still think Shala should probably be Lyra, and I may end up making that change here towards the end. We'll see how our game goes and see if everything lines up the way it's supposed to. So, I mean, maybe the second ability on this is just not important. We just may want to give our planeswalkers hexproof. So, Blue-White Historic is crazy popular. That is kind of one of the reasons Dragon Lord wanted to go for this deck. He did mention that he was trying to build, you know, a historic deck that was more into planeswalkers and more into the Esper colors. He really wanted to play with some Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, and then of course in the sideboard here we've got a copy of the Eldest Reborn. So another really good card there. I'm a real big fan of Eldest Reborn. You play it for 5 mana. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. Then, after your draw on your next turn, they're going to discard a card. And then, the next turn, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So that's a pretty good card right there to just bring back. So you use her as a counter spell. As in Shala, or you use Danitha as counterspell, Dragon Lord? You found Eldest is better than Yawgmoth's. I think so as well. It's hard to deal with. I like Eldest. You're going to get a lot of value out of it. Settle the Wreckage and Vraska's Contempt here in the main board. We see a lot of these decks, like the white ones in particular, not really have to go for Vraska's Contempt because they have things like Cast Out, Settle the Wreckage, Ixalan's Binding. There's a lot of cards there that I really, really like, and I think that some of those might be a little bit better than Vraska's Contempt if we have white. Personally, I like Cast Out. However, this deck's running 3 copies of Urza's Ruinous Blast, and having removal like Cast Out or something along those lines that's permanent based, but yet it's not a legendary, is not really what we're looking for if we're running Urza's Ruinous Blast. Personally, I think that trading this 1 card out would give us a lot of room to make other changes in the deck. However, it's still a legendary sorcery. It's extremely powerful, and when most of our creatures are legendary, like Wrath Compassion or Karn, Teferi, even Oath of Teferi, the only thing we're really worried about destroying is something like a treasure map, which we may exile. David Blank, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the donation. That will do some damage to Barry down there. You'll do about 2,000 points of damage there, and if anyone finishes him off, they'll become the stream boss. Either way, we could destroy treasure map along with all the treasures, so you know, that's kind of where we're at. We've been up for about 10 minutes now. I do want to say that, you know, those of you that were looking for the Patreon games, you'll notice that I just posted Squeeze Legacy as a Patreon game deck, and I'm going to be posting all of the games that did not get play or did not get finished. Maybe even go back and post the first one too, because like I didn't really like the way that the gameplay. Oh, it hinged on the cup and fell in. I don't know, I always find the cup funny. Anyway, so I am posting those as pre-recorded decks, so you guys are going to have a little bit of extra content coming at you this week. And what do we got for tomorrow? We've got Red Green Elves by Dev. We're going to be running a Dev's deck tomorrow night, so hope you guys are ready for that. Other than what we've mentioned so far, this deck's pretty straightforward. I would have liked to have seen maybe a Weatherlight in it or something like that. We've got a lot of really cool options in the sideboard here. Tezzeret the Schemer, the Eldest Reborn, which we've already talked about. Demon Lord Belzenlock, which in this deck might actually give us a lot of damage. We've got a lot of 4 and 5 drops, so we may draw 2 or 3 extra cards off of this, and if we do, then that is just major value. So Demon Lord Belzenlock, we're going to bring that in against anything that's not pressuring our life total a lot here. Absolutely, Wrath Compassion is great. Like, I don't think that I really needed to go over Wrath Compassion, but he's kind of what makes most of these historic decks work. You can flash him in, he has flying, he's a 3/3, so he's a really good body, and then at that point you're threatening to flash in anything that's historic. That's your sagas, that's treasure map. You can flash in Search for Escanta, as it's a legendary. So there's a lot of things that you can flash in here. What's up, Mitch Wells? How you doing? Yeah, legendary creatures at instant speed are extremely sick, and that's another reason that I think that this should probably be Lyra. Lyra coming in at instant speed gives you kind of a 5/5 flash. Like, it's Avacyn, guys. I mean, it jumps in front, it's got lifelink, it's not giving indestructible to everything, but man, it's Avacyn. Right? Flashing in Heart of Kirin, crewing it, or at the end of turn, flashing it in. There's a lot of really cool things we can do. I like Heart of Kirin in this deck with all the Planeswalkers. We can keep it online. We don't have to worry about creatures. So I really, really like that. You did pick up 2 Lyra. Man, I'm going to say that this needs to be Lyra. Just hands down. Lyra would be great. I do like that, you know, you can flash this in and all of a sudden give yourself as, you know, hexproof, or give your creatures hexproof, or your planeswalkers or something like that. I do think that that is a really, really good play, but Lyra is so powerful that it just outclasses most decks. I mean, the 5/5, there's a lot of decks out there that just can't deal with a 5/5 that costs 5 mana. You can't Fatal Push it. You're not going to be able to burn it with just 1 creature. It's going to require like a Chandra downtick plus a burn spell. Her first strike means that she doesn't trade well in combat against most decks. Lyra is the real deal. So you took out the map and the Yawgmoths. What did you put in place of the map and the Yawgmoths? Lyra would make the deck have way too many 5-drops. It would, but I also think that with Lyra we would probably be dialing back on something like Yawgmoth or something like that. So you just did a just bite the bullet and brought 3 of her. Oh wow, David. Just said, you know, I've got to have her. I'm just going to have to do it. That's 60 bucks right there. Well, I'm going to play this as is, and we're going to see how it feels. So here we go. Let's see where this goes. And I definitely think that, like, I really like Lyra, but we would have to cut down on a 5-drop or something like that. For the Horde's got a really good point there. You like Rona in the main, if you're honest. Okay. All right. Well, we do not have a blue. Like, if we'd had one more land and it was blue, I would have been like, bam, let's do this. But unfortunately, we don't. So I'm gonna mulligan this. We're not keeping it, even though I was hovering over keep. All right, cool. We can keep this. We have Oath of Teferi. We've got Urza's Ruinous Blast. Oath of Teferi is going to be so good, guys. So if we can get down Gideon and we're not against a really fast deck, we should be all right here. Okay. Isolated Chapel. I think I'm actually going to leave that on the top. This means that we can play our planes, and now we're just kind of set on color from here forward. Next turn, we're going to be able to bring in Glacial Fortress. And we are against, looks like a historic deck, maybe? Blue-white historic. So, I mean, he may be trying to flash or something like that. I am going to go ahead and try to search for his Kanta here. Okay, he had a disallow, so I don't think this is historic. It may be. It may just be some other form of blue-white control. So I'm going to play the Fetid Pool, and then we're just going to start trying to eat all the counter spells that we can possibly eat. Just going to make an emblem here. And we'll see if he can just deal with Gideon. We may just end up passing and him casting out Gideon. So, we'll see what happens. Is the music too loud, guys? Let me adjust the music a little bit. You guys let me know if it's too loud. And I'll dial it back a little bit. Blink of an eye. Just going to bounce Gideon there. Alright, well, I mean, Blink's not horrible. I think I want to try a history here. Okay, well, I mean, that got another counter spell out of him. Dovin Bond is probably going to be really good, but I think that we can, I don't know. So, yeah, let's try Dovin Bond. So, do we get Gear Hulked here? Yeah, we get Gear Hulked. Alright. He Gear Hulks me. I mean, he's down to 2 cards in hand. And he hasn't been able to draw a lot here, so... let's try to Gideon. We can pay for a Supreme Will here. Alright, he's going to Glimmer. So he did have his card draw intact. We will +1 on Gear Hulk and pass. I mean, if we were able to land the Gideon, then we might be able to land Oath of Teferi. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I take another, I think I actually just want to cast oh, I can't. Exile another target permanent I control. And then it will return it to the battlefield under your control. Alright, so undo, 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 undo. I guess we're just playing this to have a legendary. Alright, well, I mean, that wasn't like the greatest play in the world. May cast only if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. So we can't even cast Urza's Ruinous Blast to deal with this cast out until after we have a legendary creature or planeswalker. So B Drake healing himself up. Good evening. Glad to see you back up and running. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Layout looks cleaner. I'm glad you guys like it. Oh, wow. I forgot now that we're running the layout and it looks like that. I should probably close that out. Alright, so I'm going to attempt a Karn. We're just going to see what happens with Karn here. I mean, I assume he's got an answer for Karn. Another Gearhulk. Well, there's not going to be a lot I can do about that, guys. Yeah, I mean, we've seen what happened if you're behind. Urza's Ruinous Blast is not going to save you. How many times, like, are you just begging for your, like, let me top deck my board wipe, let me top deck my spell, and I don't think that Urza's Ruinous Blast is what we want. I really don't. So either way, I'm going to take out a couple cards here that I'm not a huge fan of, and I'm going to bring in a couple other cards. So the Opt I'm going to remove, and then Yawgmoth's Vile Offering here. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering is not bad. Rona enters the battlefield. You may exile target historic card from your graveyard, and you may cast exile cards. This might actually be really good. And I'm going to take this Danitha out because we're not needing lifelink here, and I'm going to run the Rona instead. And then as far as I want to run Bells and Lock and Azor against this control deck. And we're going to see how that works. I think that I can cut down on probably a Liliana and a Settle. I mean, we do have to have a way to answer his Gearhulks. And then I'm going to cut down one, or, you know, I'm going to bring back Settle the Wreckage. And I'm actually just going to cut down Urza's Ruinous Blast. And then we need one more card in the main. Exile target non-land permanent for as long as that card remains exiled. Its owner may cast it without paying its mana cost. Let's try an Eldest Reborn as the last card here. I mean, this is a 61 card deck, so you really like chat being bigger. You can actually see it from across the room when casting it to your TV now. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I wanted to spruce things up a little bit, you know. I'm glad you guys are liking it. This isn't bad. We can even go get our Black Source if we need it. So yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this. It'll allow us to start putting threats on the battlefield as early as turn 3. So yeah, I'm gonna go with this. He's deciding on whether or not to mulligan to 5 or to 4. So he kept his 5. Here we go. So I'm assuming he just leaves up an answer here. We'll go ahead and grab the first counter spell. I mean, if he's relying on like disallows and stuff, this one's going to be hard to remove, and it'll give us a couple early threats. So now he's going to have to start digging for something else, as we do have a threat now. So I am going to attack. Really need a black source. We got a black source. We're good. We got one. I want to get Rona down next turn, so I could try to cast Shala, Voice of Plenty here, and that might actually be a really good play. But I also want to get a black source so that I can. I don't know. You know, I'll actually play Shala, and then we'll try to get the Rona down in another turn. This way, if he counters this when we do play Rona, we can just exile the Shala. Eldest Reborn. So he does need to stop this damage. This is quite a fair amount of damage. That was fairly nice for us. I'm just going to pass. And I'm not going to thin his deck before he draws. I'm just not going to do that. We'll do it this turn. We'll do it on his turn, so. Now, he can't actually Field of Ruin us because we don't have non-basic. And we're doing this in the beginning of combat, so it's going to be hard for him to carry this this on to another step. Alright, so he just cycles with it. Okay, so there's a search for Azcanta. That's not horrible. Let's go ahead and get into combat and see if he'll spend his mana. And then let's go for it here. We'll grab a Rona. And I'm actually going to exile History. So, yes, we want to exile the History. And now we can cast History. So maybe, right? Isolated Chapel wouldn't be bad. Haven't been able to catch the stream lately, but you came in top 4 at the PPTQ yesterday. That's a great run, Luke. I mean, anything top 8 at a PPTQ is not bad. So, wow. Okay. So I'm just going to put History on the stack right now. Alright, he negates it. We know we're clear from Settle. Did you get my Patreon message, bro? Didn't see your deck yesterday. I did not get a chance to play most of the decks yesterday. We had some internet issues, and you guys are going to be seeing some Patreon decks come out over the course of the week. They're all going to have their own individual video. I'm going to play a game with them. They'll be about 30-minute videos, and we'll go from there. This is match 1 with the Esper Superfriends deck, and we're coming up against a blue-white control deck. So yeah, we're kind of cruising right through it here. Release the win, man. I need a way to be able to. I'm just gonna submit back. I don't think Mox Amber belongs in this deck. Thank you, Sean. Sean, how you doing, sir? Been a while, Mr. Carson. Oh no. Miss Susan, that's it. Miss Susan is your wife. I try to remember when you people try to let me know, you know, more about yourselves. I do try to remember. So this might be okay. We might be able to get an Oath of Teferi down a little bit early. We'll see what happens. So we'll play our irrigated farmland, and I'm just going to cast Mox right now. Just, bam, my Mox is out there. Good man, thanks. It has been. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you, sir. Okay, I'm just going to play the Isolated Chapel. Pretty much everything comes in untapped once you get an irrigated farmland, so. I mean, he did get his search for Escanta, and, you know. Chow083, what's up? Gonna get some mono white and black stuff posted on Reddit soon. You're a little bit behind on building. Oh man, you've got to check out the black white knight decks and stuff like that. So if you're trying to do some black and white decks, man, there's some good stuff for you. Let's go ahead and try to cast the history first. I really like casting history here because if he counters it, then I can go with the Rona. This seems like a really good line. So read your last message. Erica should have a graphic with the stream record. You know, you have to go in and manually adjust those every time. I don't like those. I do need to remember to close that out now that we're on this new layout here. And Ixalan's Binding. Ah. So we can go. Let's go Shala. So now the only thing he can target is Shala, Voice of Plenty. Lyra Dawnbringer. What a thing, what a thing. So I'm just going to deal with Lyra. And we'll chip in for a little damage, gain a little bit back, and we'll pass the turn. Now, I do have 2 mana open thanks to Mox Amber, but I just really don't think this deck needs Mox Amber that much. I wasn't able to play Albas either. It went down in the middle of Zaxadillo's deck. So I recorded Zaxadillo's deck today, and I posted that. So that's actually already on my channel for you guys to be able to go see. So you can watch Zaxadillo's gameplay. Man, what do we do here? Like, I think I jump into combat first. And then I'm going to play an oath. Jace's defeat. Okay. Now we have something that's worth using Rona for. I mean, you can always just play Rona and start like exiling the top card of your library at the end of their turn. Lyra Dawnbringer. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Okay, so let's get down Rona. We will exile that. I'm gonna go blue, white, I'm gonna cast I mean, do we need to even bounce anything? I don't know. We'll just bounce the opal. We are going to need a way to get some advantage here. And that's going to prove a little bit difficult. Although, now that we've got Rona down and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, we can start tapping her and kind of go from there. You build an infinite squee deck. Deck would not be a deck without squee. Okay, now see, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, you couldn't play the deck if you didn't have squee. That's what I want to see. Alright, he turned it sideways. I get that he's gaining life back. And then Fumigate. Alright. So we don't have a way to draw. We don't have another turn where Urza's Ruinous Blast is doing us no good. Exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary, but you need a legendary to make it work. So we don't get to draw. I think we just pass turn, and if he tries to flip the Search for Escanta, we just destroy it. Karn. Alright, he got his Karn down. We'll get him an irrigated farmland. Shalab Voice of Plenty is a start. And disallow. Wow. All right. So I would expect Karn to downtick here and grab the Teferi. And then at that point, we're probably not going to be able to catch back up. So, yeah, it's only a creature or a walker. It doesn't count for having a legendary artifact or enchantment. So, not a lot we're going to be able to do here. Again, like, this card has just not been what we're looking for. So we destroy Search for Escanta here. And do we grab the other black source? Does it matter? Sure, we'll get it. And there's the Teferi. So he ticked down, grabbed Teferi. Now he'll uptick, draw a card, and at this point he's drawing like 3 cards per turn. So Card reads better than it actually is. Yeah, Teferi is like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Jace the Mind Sculptor is not a great card because it has 4 abilities on it. It's a great card because the abilities are extremely good. Now this doesn't have Fate Seal on it, but you can draw a card and untap some land every turn. You can put any permanent back on top of its owner's library, 3rd from the top. Like, that's not bouncing back to their hand, guys. This card is the real deal, and the ultimate does win games. So, yeah. There's just a few fundamental cards that I think would have been a little bit better as different cards. Mainly, like, if this would have been Lyra, this would have been, like, terrific. So he's going to untap. He'll untap a couple lands. Like, Teferi is redefining... am I going to be able to cast this? Maybe. You can have an island. So he's also got a Lyra Dawnbringer, but it doesn't have a silver counter on it. But the reason Teferi is making things kind of broken, if you will, is Teferi allows control decks to play in a way that they never could before. It's a legendary sorcery. Exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. So, yeah. We'll try it. I mean, yeah, we're just committed. Yeah, he just committed us. Great. And it's just not looking good, guys. Right, I can get rid of Ixalan's Binding. You're right. I will still have a Karn, a Teferi, and a Gideon on the battlefield. I don't think you guys can hardly see the Gideon. He's over behind. He's behind the Subscribers Sunday. It looks so hideous if I do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. No, I'm not. You can have an irrigated farmland. Go ahead, cycle some more, dude. Gideon's a 4/4. He's still a legendary planeswalker named Gideon. He's getting in there now. Torrential. Ouch. Just ouch. It hurts so bad. I'm going to try to cast this in response, like before he can Glimmer. Alright, so he disallowed that. Okay. So he Glimmers. Not a lot we can do here, guys. So the only thing I can do is just pass. We don't have enough mana to cast this and cast the legendary sorcery. Is a legendary sorcery? It's a legendary, right? So artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. Does that mean this has flash? Right? Like, shouldn't this have flash? You can have the planes. Draw a card, untap some stuff. He's got 9 cards in hand right now, guys. 9 cards. 9 cards, swinging 9 per turn. Yeah. I think it will have flash. I'm pretty sure this has flash. But we're still a land off of being able to do anything there. Let's try Raph again. He's like, no. No. You cannot have a creature. I mean, he's sitting here discarding cards. And a negate for the Heart of Karen. Yeah. Alright, Dragon Lord. You need to rip these Urza's Ruinous Blast out of this deck. ASAP. They've got to go. So, let's go look at this deck and talk about it a little bit. Yeah, nothing will resolve. You don't have the option to make anything resolve. I know you have looked at these blue-white historic decks. What makes these Raph decks work is basically seal away, guys. 2 mana to be able to deal with things. This is great. You've got good counter spells and things like that, so it's got good defense. Now, when we go over here and look at the Esper Superfriends here, like, what is our defense? How are we stopping them from doing anything? And other than just our planeswalkers themselves, which aren't extremely defensible, we don't really have any answers for that. We can throw a couple creatures down that are a little bit early, but I don't think those are where we want to be. So I'm going to say that Danitha needs to go. I don't really like Danitha here, and Shala is the wrong card for us. Vraska's Contempt is not what we're looking for, even though the card's not bad. Opt and Mox Amber are also not what I would like to see. And then I would start building somewhere around this shell. Maybe even putting Liliana in the sideboard. Now, the reason I say that I would start working with something along these lines, even if you want to cut Treasure Map, that's okay. Search for Azcanta is kind of like, you know, it's okay. It's great when you get it out and you get it out on turn 2, but absolutely. So if you are looking for having those legendary creatures, Ronan gives you card draw. I really like the turns that we had Rona. If you just have to player to player, then that's fine. But she gives you card draw, and I think that that's very, very important. Also, you are kind of a control deck, so I would like to see this deck run a little bit of control. I would like to see the deck, you know, with some type of counter spells or something like that into the deck, because you are trying to get down a Raph and go instant speed at that point. So, Dovin Bond's nice, and I know that you're trying to build around some of the other planeswalkers and stuff, but I'm going to say pull back on one Dovin Bond. It is a really good card, but personally, I would like to see another copy of Gideon in the deck. Gideon's a little bit lower on the curve, and it gives you another threat that will actually, you know, deal damage. So I do like Gideon here. Let me put this on standard. So many Gideon cards over time. Anyway, I think that Gideon himself would be is a good inclusion here as another copy of. Settle the Wreckage. I definitely think you want 3 of those. And then as far as Seal Away, you just want to run all the Seal Aways. Just all 4 of these. This card is phenomenal, sir. And now that we don't have the Urza's Ruinous Blast in, you just got your second Gids today. Awesome, awesome. I just think Gids is really, really good. He's an awesome card, and if you can make an emblem with the first one, then you can cast the second one, things like that. Like, Gideon's just a really, really good card that's going to give you a lot of value. Next here is we've got to have a couple creatures that would just dominate the game. The turn that they hit the battlefield, they're just going to require an answer immediately. If you don't have that answer, then they're probably just destroyed. So try the Lyras, and then again, like, I wanted to take another, you know, book out of the blue-white historic deck. Blink of an Eye is a great card, and it's only 2 blue for the kicker. So you're going to pay 1 for the main and then 1 for the kicker. So 2 blue's not going to be that hard. I think Blink of an Eye is a really good card, but I don't know if we have enough room left, because we do need a good counter spell. Now you could run Syncopate here, you could run Disallow if you think that you've got the power for Disallow. You could run there's a couple options you could run. But I definitely think that you need a counter spell in here. So it's too much black. There's not that much black in the deck. We don't have Vraska's Contempt in here anymore. Like, we've cut that out. We've added another Settle, and now we can Contempt things with Seal Away. Treasure Map may not be the right card for us. It does work really well with Karn. Like, when you flip Treasure Map, Karn's little dudes get huge. So I do like that. I mean, for now you could leave Treasure Map, but I think that's the card to cut. The other thing is, I would just like to see some counter here. I mean, if you're setting back trying to be instant speed, with Wrath and stuff like that, then let's look at some counter spells. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering is a kill spell, and it gives you oh wow, yeah, Cast Down is really good. Cast Down is really, really good. So let's say we cut the treasure maps altogether, and let's run a few. I think that Cast Down is actually a viable choice here. And if you are going to run Cast Down, oh no, I typed cast and hit enter. Oh, that's going to pull so many cards. If you are going to run Cast Down, you could probably cut back on a Seal Away. This would, I wouldn't run mini Cast Down though, really. And I still think I would want some kind of good counter spell. So, how, what counter spell should we look at here? And let's just look in blue, because that's where the counter spells are. Yeah, we don't need Brawl. Brawl is an interesting card, but we don't need Brawl. Let's look at instant speed so we can narrow things down just a little bit here. I mean, Essence Scatter's not bad. Censor Jace's Defeat in your sideboard. Negates in the sideboard. Like, that's something that kind of bothers me a little bit. There's no negate here in the sideboard, and that's something that you probably really need to look into. Just having the answer, like being able to negate people is phenomenal. Spell Swindle would be good with your Karns, believe that or not. So, I mean, you could go Supreme Will, you could go, there's a lot of things you could use here. I wouldn't go Revolutionary Rebuff. It's a non-artifact spell. There are a lot of people trying to play artifacts and things like that, so. It looks like Zaxdillo just found his deck. Link to the deck doesn't work. Well, I'll have to fix that. Alright. So, let's see here. Unwind is not bad. It's a non-creature spell. It's kind of like Negate, but it's not quite Negate. I am going to go ahead and throw Negates in the sideboard. I think that you're going to want those Negates. This bounce is decent, but it's more of a protection for your own thing than anything else. Profane Procession. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's like one of the biggest reasons to be in black, isn't it? Like, if you have a Profane. Let's find this counter spell real quick, and then we'll find a room for that Profane Procession. Like, it may just be Disallow, man. Like, Wizard's Retort's not bad, but we don't have many wizards. Like, you've got Cap. So, like, Cap could be your wizard. But other than Cap, it's probably Disallow. So, if you have the Disallows, I would probably stick some Disallows in the deck. You probably cut a Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. I mean, you've got the Eldest Reborns and stuff in the sideboard. Supreme Will is the best option because of the utility of it. Maybe. Supreme Will may be your best option. Disallow is going to answer just about everything, but if you like Supreme Will, I'm okay with Supreme Will in the slot. And it may just be a 3-up slot because you have these other kill spells and the settles and stuff. Honestly, now that we've got Kill Spells, Settle the Wreckage, Supreme Will, that makes me a little bit more interested in Gearhulks. Like a Gearhulk seems really good, so you've already cut the offering. Alright, well then I'll go ahead and cut the offering, and that'll give us a couple more spots. I mean, this is kind of turning you into the blue-white historic deck on some aspects. I mean, it is heading in that direction, right? Like, I think Fumigate's going to be important. I really think Fumigate's going to be important. So let's look at it after we've put a couple Fumigates in the deck here. And I'll move a Tezzeret main board. Tezzeret's okay. Tezzeret's little artifacts work really well with Karn. Tezzeret's negative ability is not that great, but he starts ramping you, and then from there you're starting to do like great things. So the last card may just be your Bells Unlock or an Eldest Reborn. I think I'm just going to throw an Eldest Reborn in the main board here. I like the card. I think the card's really, really powerful. And, you know, if you have a cap down... Oh, that was the last card. My bad. I accidentally took a Wrath out. You're going to want these 4 Wraths. Like, the deck is so built around 4 Wraths. So, you could trade this Fumigate out and just put it in the sideboard and run the 2 Torrential Gearhulks if you have the 2 Torrentials. But I think that this is going to give you a lot more value, and it's going to be much stronger. So, why no mainboard Liliana? What are we bringing back with mainboard Liliana? Lyra, like, her meal just goes through your Planeswalkers. Like, her meal is so horrible in a Planeswalker deck. Like, Liliana, this is not really the place you want to see Liliana, but, like, personally, I would rather see a copy of the Scarab God here than Tezzeret or Liliana. Like, if you're in Esper and you're trying to be serious and you don't have a copy of the Scarab God or 2 or a dozen, then you're probably not trying to be that serious. Right, the deck needs Nissa if you're going to be running with Liliana. So, honestly, instead of Liliana or a Tezzeret, I would like to see a couple copies of the Scarab God here. And I just think that would probably be a lot stronger. I mean, being able to flash the Scarab God down at end of turn is pretty broken. The more you look, why in the heck are we not playing the Scarab God? Best card in Standard. You're right. You're right, Thomas. And that's exactly what I was saying there. If you do have 2 copies of the Scarab God, that actually may be an even better card here than Eldest Reborn to throw one of main board. Like, maybe put your Torrentials in the side and throw the 2 the Scarab Gods in the main board. Like, that might be better than the Eldest Reborn and Torrential. But Torrential might be even better. I mean, this is going to give you a lot of stay power. You're going to have a lot of ability to, you know, to flash back, to get, you know, creatures back from the graveyard, to get your caps back, you know, to get a Rona back. Like, there's a bunch of things you can do there. So, you knew you started something. You did. You did. The Scarab God's really, really good card, and I was kind of coming to that thought right around the time I seen your message there. So, when I'm done it's going to be the most expensive deck in Standard. Probably you were already pushing. I mean, you're really close to being the most expensive deck in Standard when you start playing blue-white Historic. But, I mean, these cards are expensive for that reason. They're really, really good cards, and a lot of people are playing with these cards, so it does make these cards really good cards, or it makes them very expensive. You may not need the 3 Fumigates. Like, honestly, the big thing that I really wanted to see in your sideboard was some copies of Negate. This deck needed some counter more than anything else, and as of right now, the one card in the main board that I'm really not sold on is Search for Azcanta. But the card's not that bad, so, you know, that's where I I would have it. I do like one copy of Torrential mainboard, David. I know you're saying, you know, Torrential in the sideboard is pretty cool, but in this deck, you're really looking to get an extra copy of Settle the Wreckage with a Torrential Gearhulk, or an extra copy of Cast Down. Settle the Wreckage is the main reason that you want that Torrential Gearhulk. So you just got here. What game are we on? We're finishing up the first deck and about to move into the second. We've already done some updates for this, and I mean, this is kind of where I would leave it, or start testing from here and see where I would go for it. So yeah, we're done with this one, and I think this is about where I would leave this deck. You'll notice that we've got a lot more 2-drops, we've got a lot more 3-drops to help balance the deck out. We've got a lot more that we can do in the early stages. I do like Rona, and I know that one of the reasons you were picking the legendary creatures and stuff was because of the Ruinous Blast and stuff, but I think Ruinous Blast is just going to let you down more than it's going to help you. So you don't think there's enough walkers for the Oath to be functional in this deck? You might be right. There may not be enough walkers, but if you hit Karn or Teferi with an Oath down, it's about to be a bad day for someone. Hitting Gideon with an Oath down means that, I don't know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 walkers in a walker deck. That's not bad. That's not bad. Maybe Oath isn't like terrific, but I wouldn't go beyond just like a 1 of Oath. I would still even at least 1 Oath. I just think it's a good card. I do think it's a great card. And when you start like upticking Teferi twice and you untapping 4 lands, which means like you can tap out and still untap your Settle the Wreckage mana, it's kind of hard to say no to. But yeah. Either way, again, this is somewhere where I would start moving this deck before I started testing it. I think the more you play with this, the more you might end up dropping black. However, if you leave the Scarab God in, you may never drop black cards. Like, you may just keep them. Yeah, I think this is about where I would leave it, guys. I hope you have to talk about Magic instead of. Did somebody get you? Did Horde get you? How edgy can you be on this video? Yeah, as long as you're not a douchebag, it'll be fine. What's the next deck? You're done. You guys done with this deck, huh? Well, fine. We will move on to Hell's Forest. Apparently some things are going down in the forest here. Bells and Lock is doing things, and people are going to be dying. People are going to be dying to old Bells. Old Bells and Lock. Either way, this is a really cool deck. Alright, so it's a green-black deck. 4 Blooming Marsh, and then, you know, Forest. We've got a couple Memorials of Utility. This one you sacrifice it, pay 3, 1 green, 2 colorless, and tap and sacrifice this. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Then to put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, yeah, it's not that bad of a card. I like it. I think it's good utility. Late game, you know, you might not have something to pump, like with the Hash Up Oasis or something. So, just, you know, digging and getting something is really good. So, Woodland Cemetery, one of the new cards from Dominaria. It's a reprint, and I was so happy to see these cards back. So that helps round out our land base. I'm assuming he didn't have the 4th Woodland Cemetery, and that's the only reason he didn't put it in. But in a 2-land deck, I see no reason to not put Woodland Cemetery in. Also, since we are running some of the bigger creatures that we might want to get back, maybe the Memorial to Folly, I think is the black one. Maybe a copy of that wouldn't be horrible in the deck. There's a lot of other things you could do with a mana base in a 2-color deck. You could add some Field of Ruin, or even Scavenger Grounds. Now, you're not going to be able to hit all of these different things. You're not going to be able to go, you know, Memorials of Unity and Folly, and do your other things like the 5/4 Elf needs ban. Probably does. So like, you might want to look at those, but yeah, Lyra's going to be the problem. Actually, what I think is on the chopping block is going to be Wrath. Wrath is going to he's going to warp the meta. The ability to cast some of the things that we have in standard right now at instant speed probably shouldn't be done. So You can turn 3 that dude in this deck. Wow, really? The 5/4 elf? Is this what are we talking about? The 5/4 elf. What 5/4 elf? The avatar? What? You can turn 3 what dude in this deck? Tolgar? Like, I think Tolgar, like, that's going to be really good, and that's kind of what this deck's really based around. We've got Land of War Elves for ramp that's going to help us get into, you know, our J-Light Rangers, or even our, you know, Rite of Belzenlok on turn 3 or 4. Now, when we cast Rite of Belzenlok, we're going to create 2 0/1 black cleric creature tokens, and then when the third counter goes on it, we basically summon Belzenlok himself, create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying and trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you, so it's a true demon, and it is the epitome of Belzenlok, only it's not going to draw some cards. Now, this Rite also works really good with Tolgar. I expect that there's going to be some plays where we're going to go Rite for 4, and then for 2 more, sack 3 dudes and cast our Tolgar, which is pretty cool. And when it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player's life total becomes half of their starting life total. I hate seeing this a little bit later in the game when they're already down to like 10 or something. So like, you don't want to actually target them, but you could also target yourself, and it's up to 1 target player, so you don't have to target anyone. But yeah, not elf, the avatar, right? Still Leaf champion, but you do not see him in this deck. I think Still Leaf is going to be... No, he's not in our next deck either. Our next deck's mono green 5-color. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, right? Talk about some jank. Anyway, in the 2 slot here, we've got some cast down. We're seeing this get a lot of play in a lot of decks. Knight of Malice. I really like Knight of Malice. We do not have a white permanent, so I'm not really big on that, but as long as any player controls a white permanent, the Knight of Malice is going to be alright. So this is going to help us against those white decks. Remember, lands are colorless. They are not colored. Moment of Craving. This is just another really good card to help us deal with things. Walk the Plank. I don't know about Walk the Plank here. Like, this may just be a missed opportunity to run something else. And then we get down into the 2-drop creatures. Merfolk Branchwalker. Everyone's pretty familiar with Merfolk Branchwalker, but Untamed Kavu. Now, I'm ecstatic about Untamed Kavu because you can play this for 5 mana and you get a 5/5, or you play it for 2 mana and you get a 2/2. This is like vanilla Kavu all day long. Like, he is a perfect vanilla creature. He's got vigilance and trample, so you either play him for 2, 2/2 for 2, or a 5/5 for 5. This card is great, guys. Vigilance and trample. I'm really big fan of Untamed Kavu. Draw it early, it's a good threat early in the game. Draw it late, it's a great threat late in the game. So, J-Light Ranger, we know what J-Light does. We're going to explore, then we're going to explore again. Where there's a lot of different ways we can do those abilities. Like, we can leave one on top, we can go ahead and throw it, we can get our second counter, then throw it in the graveyard. So some options there. We do have a Joshu Vess. I like Joshu Vess, and we did get to ultimate or kick him the other day in Deb's deck. So I'm super excited to be playing Joshu Vess again. Just kicking him felt great, didn't it? Like, just bam! Let me have all them zombies. Yeah, I like it. I like Joshu Vess, and more times than not, you're probably going to be just playing this as a 4-mana 4/5. But I mean, if Ripjaw Raptor was good, then this is good. Granted, this doesn't draw you a card like Ripjaw does, and Ripjaw's really good at something like that. But Joshu's got he's got menace, so he's getting in. Like, this, he's an aggressive fella. And then you top deck another one late game. You don't worry. You go ahead and swing with the 4/5 on the battlefield, kick the second one, and yeah, roll from there. Still dying to see him kicked with Panharmonicon. Right, you're right, James. I mean, that would be a lot if we kicked him with Panharmonicon. Tolgar here, you sacrifice creatures. He gets 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. So you sack 3 dudes, and he's 2 mana. He's a little bit bigger than like a Delve Gurmag Angler or something like that. But yeah, 2 mana 2 mana 7/6 sounds really good to me, and he's got a pretty decent enter the battlefield. So, weird, you know a guy named Taylor McPherson? Where are you from? The Mending of Dominaria would be outstanding in this deck. Mending. Let's look that up. Mending of Dominaria. It's green. Here, let's do this. Alright. The Mending of Dominaria. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That is really good. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then shuffle your library into your... or shuffle your graveyard into your library. That's not horrible. That's not horrible. So yeah, that actually might be a decent option, and personally I think we've got these 2 Walk the Plank slots open. I mean, we've got 3 Moment of Cravings, we've got 2 cast downs, maybe need a little something else on the top end here, but Vraska's Contempt or something. Vicious Offerings here in the sideboard. This is a pretty good card. I also think you could get away with some Sporling cards, like if you're just looking for some go wide strategies or something. But yeah, you have a green-black Panharmonicon kick deck that kicked Joshua with Panharmonicon on the field. It was pure bliss. Then you lost a bunch. Aww, man, that feels bad, Trevor. Driven to Despair. I seen you earlier. I was trying to ignore it. Driven to Despair would fit in this deck. Also, with the number of creatures you have, Driven to Despair would probably be pretty good. Now, we are running 26 creatures, so this deck is going to be able to play creatures, you know, no problem. So, either way, in the sideboard, there's a couple cards I want to talk about really quick. We've got a Vraska. We haven't been seeing a lot of play from Vraska lately, but Vraska is great. With all of the histories of Benalia, that I'm seeing more and more Golden Demise. I think this card is on a really good spot right now, so don't ignore me. I'm a G. I got you, Rush. Trying to ignore it. I was trying not to mention the Driven to Despairs, but it would fit in this deck. Naturalize here, another great card, and we see a couple copies of it. Naturalize is just a great way to deal with things. So, a girl, what? What'd I miss? Anyway, Gaia's Blessing here. Gaia's Blessing, great card. Target player shuffles up to 3 cards from their graveyard into their library. Now, I've seen people actually play the Torment of Scarabs or something like that. I forget what the name of it is, but it exiles 3 cards, so I'm a born hater. Right? Haters gotta hate. Hey, that's the way it works, I guess. Anyway, you get to take 3 cards from their graveyard, put those important cards back into their library, and then you draw a card. And when this is put into your graveyard from your library, shuffle your graveyard into your library. So if this would be, this is protection from mill, this is protection from someone who is trying to mill themselves or something like that, or trying to get key cards in their graveyard, and you get to draw a card. So it also replaces itself. Great card there. Broken Bond, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It is a sorcery speed naturalize, but it does give you the opportunity to have a little bit of ramp. And in some cases, that can be very good. I don't think this is a bad card. I don't really like the sorcery speed on the card, but I do think it's a good card, and I'm willing to give it a shot here. And if we have an artifact deck, I'm definitely going to be bringing it in. I want to try to play with it and see how relevant it is that we're holding the extra land. So, yeah, but it's not instant. I got you, man. This is, though, Vicious Offering is an instant speed card, and it's just -2/-2 until end of turn. Now, we get a lot of play out of Moment of Craving and things like that, which makes me think that this should probably be Moment of Craving. So, I should put the 2 Mendings in. Maybe. I would have to order them from manatraders, but we could do that. Target creature gets -2/-2, and if we sacrifice a creature to kick it, they'll get -5/-5. So instant speed gives you a dismember, or it'll give you the -2/-2, like a Moment of Craving or something. So either way, this is the deck that we're about to play, and we're gonna jump into it, and we'll talk about the upgrades as we see it play out. So let's take a look at Hell's Forest. Brontodon should be main rather than walk the plank, maybe. What's up, Rob? How you doing? The unstoppable ROB. How you doing, sir? All right, we got an opponent. Kotetsu. Okay, Kotetsu. We're gonna hit that go first button. This is not really a go first hand, so I'm gonna mulligan it. This is a go first hand. This will work. And I'll even keep the Untamed Kabu because I plan on playing cards like Merfolk Branchwalker and stuff like that, and just trying to draw into more creatures. If Liliana could fit into a deck like this one would be probably pretty decent for Liliana. So we're just gonna play the Branchwalker, and we'll see if we get a land. Jadelight Ranger. I'm gonna put that on top, and starting next turn, we're just gonna start Jadelight, and from there we've got 4 Explorers, so we can start digging for land. So if we've got a land in the next couple cards, then we'll see it. All right, he gets a Jadelight. Aether Sphere Harvester. Does he want to pitch the Aether Sphere? He is deciding. Aether Sphere Harvester was revealed yet again, so he just kept the Aether Sphere. Okay, so from here, I'm also going to play a Jadelight Ranger. Now, I'm looking for land, so I'm going to put that into the grave. Knight of Malice, I'm going to put that into the grave as well. And we're going to start getting sideways here. Now, if he wants to block with his Jadelight, I'm okay with that. Like, trading a Branchwalker for a Jadelight seems okay to me. Michael, thank you for subscribing. Alright, he does block, so those trades happen. His turn 3. It's almost as if we're playing the same deck. But we're not, because he's got Gonti. Gonti's a great card if you're in green-black. And trying to, like, if you're in green-black Value Town, Gonti's a great card. Alright, so we need lands. Just land would be fine. I have to put that in the graveyard as well. And we'll trade this for Gonti. Woowert is a cool name. Probably butchered that. Barry Drake says, much love for you there, Mark. The man you just hit for 100 points. Alright. So he traded Gonti, and he's just got another Gonti, and yeah. Land off the top would be decent. I would love to start casting these Kabus. I mean, it's a land. Alright, so we'll see if he trades. He did trade. Oh, it was too early. Now we're in the main phase. So we're just going to cast it with Kicker. Now we have a 5/5 with Trample. Really good card. If Fatal Push starts, making a big comeback again, then our 5/5 with Trample is not that terrific. But as long as Fatal Push is not like just heavy into the format, then it shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so we got a Jadelight Ranger that's owned by us. That's not cool. He puts a Prey counter on it with Tetsamok. He was only one land from being able to cast Tetsamok. I'll play the Jade Light. And we'll leave that on top, even though it's horrible. Now we're going to put it into the graveyard, because that'll get us a +1/1 counter. So we don't know what the next card is. We do need a swamp. Oh man, we need a couple swamps. Sweet. Well, it looks like he's just definitely planning on hitting land and playing his Tetsamok. Looks like, yeah, he's just going to tap that and play Tetsamok that way. Okay. Well, Cast Down's not going to help us deal with Tetsamok. I'm just going to take the 6 points of damage here. And Miss Zeno, thank you for subscribing. I can't really swing into Tets here. So, yeah, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Cast Down won't, but Walk the Plank will. That's a good point, Razor. So would something like Vraska's Contempt. So, I mean, yeah, Walk the Plank maybe, but we can't cast either of those right now, and we can't top deck an answer. We can't top deck a way to deal with. All right, let's just make this trade. And this is going to be a little bit difficult. I mean, we can throw Llanowar Elves in front of it. So I am going to swing. I like the vigilance here. And I think I just want to Llanowar Elves. And we'll pass. Now, here I'm going to trade my Kavu and this Llanowar Elves for this Tetsamok, unless he has a kill spell for Llanowar or Kavu. So if he doesn't have the answer there, then we won't be able to make the trade, but there's a Vraska's Contempt. Alright, so we're in some major trouble now. Another Joshu Vess. We'll take the Untamed Kavu. So he's swinging lethal here, crewing with Llanowar and the Aether Sphere Harvester. Yeah, this Tetsamok's just been way more than we can handle. I have to block the Tetsamok. Woodland Cemetery. Okay, I mean, it's still not enough. I mean, honestly, it would have probably been safer playing it for 2, playing it as a chump blocker, and then Llanowar Elves. We still need like 2 top decks off the top before we can even do anything. So there's a Llanowar, that'll crew. And yeah, we're looking at some major lethality here. I love the Kavu though. Kavu is so good. Alright, well, that's going to be game 1 here. We've got a ton of black sources. Like, why we didn't find blacks, just, it's horrible. Alright, so I am going to back off of Joshu Vess. and I want Vraska, and then I think I want Golden maybe it's not Golden Demise. I think I want Golden Demise though. I don't think he's going to have any white permanents, so I'm actually going to drop the Knight. And probably going to bring in Vicious Offering. And let's bring in Vicious Offering and Golden Demise. I think this is going to be okay. Weldon for the win. Raise his fist, right? Arrgh. Volunteering to tap if you need a... That's fun. I wasn't ready for that. Alright. Okay, we've got a much better hand as far as color goes. Moment of Craving is going to be really good at helping us deal with, you know, an early creature like a Land of War Elves or something like that. I do wish we would have had our Land of War Elves, but Broken Bond... Yeah, Broken Bond is like Naturalize, only it's sorcery, and you get to ramp a card. So, alright, so he'll get his Land of War Elves. And then I'll just kill it here on our turn. Like, I don't want to let him untap with it. So we'll just go ahead and do that to end his mana. I don't want him to get like a Jadelight Ranger out before me, and you know I'm on the play here, so I don't want him to get the Jadelight. Like, me being on the play and him Jadelighting before me that would just be bad. We've drawn a lot of land here, so maybe we won't hit lands off of this. We hit land Kavu. I'm going to leave the Kavu on top, and we'll pass. Next turn I'm just going to play Joshu, and then we're just going to start playing Kavus and just get as aggressive as possible. And it's about to get dark in this forest. Very dark. Alright, so he just doesn't swing at all. Okay. Well, we will go ahead and play the Joshu Vest. So we're just going to cast that without a kicker. Now, I can't swing here because if I do, then, you know, he crews and blocks and it just eats me. So, Rush, you got to go, man. Well, hey, you have yourself a good vacation. Enjoy yourself. Don't spend too much time away from your lady. Don't be on a vacation and still spend time away from her. I know how guys are. I'm one of them too. My poor wife, like, I'm always doing something else. We all need to make more time for our loved ones. So go make time for your loved ones. Go enjoy yourself. Have fun. Enjoy your vacation. We'll see you next week, Rush. Heart of Karan. Oh no, this is green-black like vehicles. I mean, it's just straight green-black vehicles. How does he plan on doing this? I will trade Joshu Vest here. I mean, if I can trade Joshu for Heart of Karan, then I will. If he goes Aether Sphere and the Merfolk Branchwalker, then that's horrible, but is he really just going to take it? He just took it. So we'll start playing Kavus. Next turn we'll play our Memorial and just play another Kavu. I mean, he can get in the air. Is this a Vraska's Contempt we're about to see? I mean, getting 8 in the air is, like, awesome. Or 7 in the air. MTGO randomized. White chat bar is still up. Oh, that's right. Game chat. Ronas. Oh no. Man, the white bar. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to closing that off. I've always used that to make the background match the same size as chat. But with my new overlay, things are going to be a little bit different, so I'll have to get used to that. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to play the Memorial. And I'm going to give him the opportunity to eat the J-Light Ranger, because eating the J-Light Ranger will, I actually think the J-Light Ranger gets through here. So I think he crews Heart of Quran with, yeah, with one of those guys. This means Ronus can block. He does need to put 2 in front of Joshua Vess. Yeah, I didn't expect him to fire the Harvester up. So he puts 2 things in front of Joshua. Okay, so he did go ahead and crew with the Harvester. So Ronus there, and then put these 2 in front of Joshua. Put this in front of Joshua and take nothing. Okay, so he would have to just let this go through. All right, so he's going to take. Well, it depends on if he gains life here. Yeah, he's going to gain life, so he's actually only going to take 1 point of damage here. Yeah, that didn't work the way I wanted it to, did it? Yeah, I lost horribly on that exchange. I didn't think that went through. Does that mean we're just beat then? If we couldn't make that attack, then are we just beat? Like, does he just crew with Heart of Karen and head back this direction? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's got kill spells as well. Well, this is a very interesting little green-black deck. Did you time someone out? Moderator doesn't have that power. Yeah, we're in some trouble here, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, we're a long way from kicking a Joshua Vess too. Yeah, let's go ahead and play the tapped one. So I'm gonna say that most of this deck just feels a little underpowered. I don't even think I can swing here. I think I have to be able to eat these things, but I mean, when he crews, he ain't worried about swinging with Ronus. No Vraska's Contempt. Like, you just can't play Magic right now in black without Vraska's Contempt, guys. Like, just don't do it. Like, if you don't have Vraska's Contempt, then you're not playing black. And if you're playing white-black, then you can give up on Vraska's Contempt and run the Sillaways, or you can run, Cast Out or Ixalan's Binding. But again, just don't do it. Like, this takes us to 1. And he pumps. Yeah. That'll be game. So yeah. Basically, this is too weak for the meta right now. Kind of, not really. It's not too weak. It deals really well with History of Benalia. But like, either we just got a horrible play. We had no way to really top out. I couldn't get to a Torgar, which is probably just bad. Maybe I've seen like the worst version of this deck. I don't think you want 3 Joshua Vess. Knight of Malice, I think, is the wrong card in this deck. Walk the Plank, I think, is the wrong card in this deck. Moment of Craving may or may not be the right card in this deck. The Rite of Bells and Lock is a good card. I think that's an interesting card. I like what you got going on there with it. I'm gonna say one of the more important cards I think that you need to add to this deck for the most part is the black cartouche. Black cartouche is going to be extremely good, and I think that we need to put that in the sideboard somewhere. Vicious Offering is what I think is better than Moment of Craving. So I'm actually going to move your Vicious Offerings main board. And we're going to add one of those. So we're going to go 3 Vicious Offerings. And then you've got to get some Contempts in here, sir. So, like, if you're not running Fatal Push, that's one thing, but Vraska's Contempt, you've got to get some copies of Vraska's Contempt into this deck. Let's say 3. 3 copies of Vraska's Contempt. And if you want to cut back on a Vicious Offering, then I'm going to say Fatal Push. Fatal Push is just a really, really good card that's gonna help you out a ton. You don't have to go overboard with the Fatal Pushes. 3 is probably going to be enough along with your Vicious Offering and your Cast Down. Now this gives us just a little bit more room for a couple other cards. And there's a Sporling card that I think that you might like. And let's see if I can find that. I can't even spell today. I don't even know what's going on. Spore Swarm is really good, and the other one is, yeah, it's Spore Swarm. I think that you might really like Spore Swarm, but the guys were also talking about Mending as being a good card, and I kind of like Mending in the card in this deck. Ripjaw Raptor over Joshu, you're probably going to get a lot more value out of a Ripjaw than you are out of a Joshu. So Mending would be decent here, but no, not Sage, Saga. But the Song of Freyalise is also a really good saga that you might be able to get some value out of. Song of Freyalise is going to give you, the ability to tap and make a bunch of mana. If you are trying to go wide, it's going to give you a lot there. If you do have a bunch of creatures, like when it goes off, it's going to give you, extra +1/+1 counters, buffing all of your creatures yet again. Merfolk Branchwalker is a little bit weak in my opinion. Like I think that there might be a better spell or something that you might want to run, and if you are trying to ramp, it may actually just be another Mana Dork that you want to put in here. I would run the 2 Spore Swarms though. It's just another way to get the like at the end of their turn, you can make 3 Spore tokens. Also, you can do this in response to the trigger for the demon from Rite of Belzenlock. So if you have the trigger on the stack at the beginning of your upkeep, trigger, and it's gonna so you're gonna untap, upkeep, trigger your 6/6 demon to make you have to sacrifice a creature. You can actually instant speed with that trigger on the stack, drop down 4 dudes and not take the damage. So I think that is really, really good. Song of Freyalise, yeah, Song of Freyalise could be your mana fix. It definitely could help you out there. But I definitely think the Spore Swarm is probably going to have itself at least a copy or 2 in the deck. If you want to throw one of the Vraska's Contempts in the sideboard, you could probably get away with that. I don't like it. I like the three main board Vraska's Contempt. I just think that it's going to be one of those cards that you have to have. If you throw that into the sideboard, another card that you're going to want to get for the sideboard, and one of the cards I'm going to cut, I'm actually going to cut Broken Bond. I don't like the Sorcery Speed. Sorcery Speed's a little bit eh. So, the other card that I would really like here is the Cartouche. The black Cartouche is just going to be phenomenal in this deck. You put that on a Kavu, and you're going to do some serious work. So 3 copies of black Cartouche are going to push you over the edge. You're going to see that you're going to end up putting this on Jadelight Rangers. You're going to put this on, Joshu Vest. You're going to put this on, Torgar, something like that. And it's going to just go absolutely ham. If you want to run Joshu Vest, you can. But for my money, I actually think that the new Dinosaur is better, like the Allosaur. or just run Ripjaw Raptor. I think that they're just better cards in the long run. Ripjaw Raptor doesn't have the menace, but drawing that extra card is going to be phenomenal. So I do think that you want, like, probably trade Joshua Vess out. But if you want to try to get it off and you want to try to, like, you know, ultimate him and stuff, then more power to you. So, you know, go for it. But again, most of the time you're just not going to have like crazy amounts of ramp and stuff. Like, even this deck is trying to like cheat your expensive dude down by creating a bunch of creatures, not necessarily creating a bunch of ramp. I do get that if you do create a bunch of creatures, then you are going to be able to make that ramp if you run something like Song of Freyalise. And that could be pretty good. Like you might get away with Song of Freyalise and just do some really good stuff, but I think you're going to want to go wider. Song of Freyalise would be a good spot. If you wanted to take out a couple Merfolk Branchwalkers, I wouldn't have an argument with that. Putting a putting a song down is kind of really good, but it's really good if you already have a couple creatures. So I do like Song of Freyalise, but if you're not creating early creatures, then it's probably not that great. Personally, if I was going to build something around like something like Song of Freyalise and trying to create a bunch of mana and stuff like that, I would probably, you know, just go with the Sporlings. So there's a lot of Sporlings that could help, and you might even want to take some interest in some of the Sporling cards over some of these Merfolk that you're running. I'm not a huge fan of Merfolk Branchwalker. Like, I know the card shows up on a lot of decks, but I think that's because it's just one of the better 2-drops that we have. It's not necessarily like the greatest thing, you know, in 2 mana. So honestly, personally, I think you're going to get more value out of an Untamed Kabu than you are out of a Merfolk Branchwalker. But that's just me. I just never really liked this card. So I mean, if you want to run it, fine. Again, I don't like putting it into my decks. I try to avoid it. Personally, I think instead of Merfolk Branchwalker, you'd get away with another Mana Dork better here. You know, Drover the Mighty, something like that. Trade Joshua Vess out for, you know, the Allosaur or Ripjaw Raptors, and then Drover could even be bigger. Or you could just run, you know, like the 2/2 guy, like Servant of the Conduit or something like that. If you did run Servant of the Conduit, that would open up, you know, some doors for you to maybe slip in some Glensleeve Siphoners or something. And then the deck just starts to transform into something else completely. So I don't really want to take it like that far, but as far as just working on what you currently have here and trying to stick to this idea of, you know, the Rite of Belzenlock and you know, getting down your Torgar, I think that, you know, trimming back on a few of the spells that we had there and getting the Vicious Offering down. I mean, you can still turn 4 this guy. Turn 4ing him's not really hard. Turn 4 just means that you went turn 1 creature, turn 2 creature, turn 3 creature, and then killed every creature you played up until that point. So yeah, I'm not impressed by like turn 4. You could also easily turn 2 him in a different or sorry, turn 3 him in some decks, but that would also be very difficult. You need to make a couple, like 2 creatures on turn 2, and I think make Servo Expedition's like the only way to do that. So you can turn 1 Legion's Landing, turn 2 Servo Expedition, turn 3 play your Torgar. So yeah, that would work in like white-black deck or something. So if you're really wanting to be all about Torgar, I think we definitely need to like speed it up and try to go for the turn 3. But other than that, again, in the sideboard, the biggest piece of advice I'm going to add for you is just throw that Cartouche of Ambition in there. If you do start going wide, then you can probably take a book from a page from Rush's book, that being Driven to Despair. It's a really good card, and I think you can get a lot of value out of Driven to Despair. Get those Vraska's Contempts and Fatal Pushes in the deck. They're a reason they're the best kill spells in Standard. They're a reason they're some of the best kill spells, period. Like, Fatal Push is like ultimately just great. People do want to be playing cards that are cheap and want to be playing them quick. So you're going to find more matchups where people are playing cheap creatures than you are where people are playing expensive creatures, especially the further up in the day that you go as far as when you're competing. So you know, just by value overall, Fatal Push is normally a better spell than something like Cast Down or something like that. But Cast Down does have its place, so does Vicious Offering. And you know, Vicious Offering, one of the reasons I liked it main board is because it can get a Lyra. It can kill Lyra. It can kill you know, any of the indestructible gods. It can kill the Ronus. It can kill stuff like that. So this is kind of where I would go with this, Razor. I know that you kind of had a little bit of a different, you know, idea going on there, but I think that I would add a little bit more to, you know, the creatures. Also, like, if you need to make a couple more spots, you could trim down your 2 branch walkers, but I'd probably try to replace those with yet more creatures. Like, take down a branch walker, take down a Jade Light Ranger, and then you can up another creature. But I would make sure that that creature was 3 converted mana cost or less. I wouldn't want to add more 4 or 5 or even higher drops to the deck. I think 3 converted mana cost or less if you do try to, you know, cut a Jade Light and a Merfolk Branch Walker. Remember, Merfolk Branchwalker is the more aggressive version, so if there's a lot of red decks, then you could also swap this out for Seeker's Squire, and you'll actually have a lot better matchup. It'll increase your percentage by a few percent against those red decks, Bowmat Courier decks, Firebrand decks, you know, that sort of thing. So swapping this out for Seeker's Squire may like reduce your your ability to be aggressive a little bit, but it would increase your ability to do other things. But all right, that is our second deck there. Now it's time to get into some jank. I will probably not have upgrades for this. I will probably not have a lot to say about it, other than I'm going to try to make it fire off, guys. I am going to say that this is my new Dominaria pet card. I really, really, really like Thrawn Temporal Gateway. Thrawn Temporal Gateway lets us do some crazy, crazy stuff, and I think it is a terrific idea. Now, this deck is kind of going way out there, guys. Like, he is mono green, but he is also 5 color. We've got an island, we've got a mountain, we've got a plains, we have a swamp, we have a forest. We are running all 5 basics here. 1 Rootbound Crag, 1 Woodland Cemetery, and 1 Sunpetal Grove, 1 Hinterland Harbor. Just a really interesting deck here. What? I got a chat. Seabiscuit sent me a message. Looking at your stream, if you do not have the 4th of Vraska's Contempt, I can give you an extra one for free. You know, Seabiscuit, hey man, I appreciate it, dude. But I rent from manatraders, so like if I needed the extra cards, I would just, you know, like, you know, go to manatraders and just, you know, say, hey, look, give me 4 Vraska's Contempts, and they'll send them to me. I need 4 of the Scarab Gods, they'll send them to me and stuff like that. So I do appreciate it, Seabiscuit. Like, that is awesome that you would offer me like a card like Vraska's Contempt, a great card. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. But thanks to renting, I just I don't have to buy the expensive cards. And most of the cards that I've pulled today, like, I didn't have these decks, so I just pulled the cards for them. So we're not going to jump back in and play those decks, but we are going to play this mono green 5 color here. So yeah, gotta get some sleep. Have fun with the next deck. David Blank, thank you very much. Welcome to the show, welcome to the community, and thank you for your donations. I appreciate it. Go get some sleep, and there'll be content coming all week long. Again, like when I miss the content, I'm going to start just pre-recording it and posting it anyway. So yeah, have a good night, Dave, and thanks for showing up to the show. All right, guys. Guys ready to do some Cascading Cataracts? Indestructible, you can tap it and create a colorless land, or you can pay 5 and tap it and create 5 mana of any combination of colors. What? That'll allow us to cast, like, activate like this thing, right? So for 6 mana, we get 5 mana in all the colors we want, and then we can, like, basically cast anything for 6 mana at that point. Sounds cool. I like it. I like the idea of it. Now, how are we going to cast cards like Jodah if we can't, like, make the mana if we're in mono green, or if we don't have a Cataracts? Well, we've got Gift of Paradise, which is going to allow us to make some color, and we've got New Horizon, which will allow us to make color. We also have a Drover of the Mighty that'll make a mana of any color, and then of course Land of War Elves, just giving us a little bit more of what we already have. Now, Wayward Servant, or Wayward Swordtooth, I really like playing with this deck, with this card. It allows us to play an additional land on each of our turns, and once we get the City's Blessing, it's a 5/5 for 3 mana. This card's really, really cool. So, how do we win if our 5/5 can't swing, our Drover's a 1/1, our Llanowar's a 1/1, and pretty much everything else is just really small? Well, first off, our Flyer is a 4/3, so we could get in with that. Or we could cast something like a Rishkar's Expertise, where we could draw cards equal to the greatest power amongst creatures we control, and then get a free 5 converted mana cost or less spell down. Which means pretty much anything we've talked about up to this point. Getting down a Jodah, getting down a Thrawn's Temporal Gateway, something like that. Now remember, Thrawn Temporal Gateway will allow us to pay 4 mana and Quicksilver Amulet out a historic card. So you may put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield for tapping this along with 4 mana. Oh my goodness. So that means instant speed Nicol Bolas, instant speed Zatalpa. We could just pay 4 mana and get a Galta. Pay 4 mana and here is my historical Gearhulk, the historical combustible Gearhulk. Or we could just throw something like a Verdant Sun's Avatar, so that when our Galta or Zatalpa or Combustible Gearhulk actually hit the battlefield, then we gain a ton of life. Or, one of my favorite things to do with it is let's just throw down Nicol Bolas and go to work, right? We're running 3 Nicol Bolases in this deck, guys. This is mono green Bolas. Let's go have some fun, right? Let's look at the sideboard. There were a couple of Blossoming Defenses I didn't mention. A 3rd copy here in the sideboard, 4 negates, 3 Thrashing Brontodon, 3 Settle the Wreckage, 2 Naturalize, and 2 Heroic Intervention. Now, originally he only had an 8-card sideboard, so I wanted to grab 7 cards and throw into the deck, and his 8 cards were all of our green cards here. So the 7 cards that I grabbed was Negate and Settle the Wreckage. I figured if we're going to have all these ways to produce the additional mana by, New Horizon or Gift of Paradise, then I think we can get away with Negates, and I think that we can get away with Settle the Wreckage. So it's also going to be devastating for an opponent to swing into a mono green deck and all of a sudden be Settle the Wreckaged. So that is kind of my surprise. That is kind of the plan. I do not like playing cards that we can't naturally cast. But with Gift of Paradise being a major part of this deck, I do think that we can naturally cast Negate and Settle the Wreckage. And we've seen things like this happen. Saffron Olives put Negates and Settle in other color decks before. So like it's not like some of the guys who play a ton of Magic online haven't done some crazy stuff like this. And remember, this is Jank City. I'm not going to be going back. Like, I saved this one for 3rd place because I don't plan on going back and updating it or making changes to it. I just want to play it and see if we can fire it off. If we can cast Bolas in a mono green deck, then I'm going to be a happy man, okay? Like, so we're just going to see what happens. We may run up against just some really fast deck and just nothing matter, but I'm interested to find out. I am very interested to see, how well does this work? Do we have the tools to start playing some crazy jank like this, or do we need to wait around on it? And I think this is where we find out. So here we go. Oh man, I like this Ninja Turtle some. Alright, he's on the play. We got the draw. Let's see what happens. It was off. How's that? There's white chat. You guys want white chat? Okay. Alright, we'll quit. Okay, guys. I was goofing around with chat. Mic is off. All I heard is BG. Okay, well, this is not what we're looking for here. I mean, we've got some spells in his stuff, but I think we need, like, at least 3 lands in hand. I'll play this again if we have to. I'm going to put that on the bottom. I'm not looking for Galta here. Like, if I have to play this game, this deck a second time, like, maybe we can do that, but... Our opponent said, sorry about that little pause. Fudge, did I freeze already? Never mind. You're good. Alright. So, just Blooming Marsh and pass the turn? I mean, Cascading Cataracts, I mean, we may end up, like, just playing some bombs here really quick. But then again, we may never get anything off the ground against like a blue-black search for Esconta deck. So, yeah. Let's play the Plains. And we'll pass. I mean, now if he's probably going to want to kill this. I mean, we're not really looking at being able to do much with it. I would like to, like, top deck a Thrawn right now or something. That's not terrific, but it does allow our Rootbound Crag to start coming in untapped, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, let's just attack. We're just going to kill it. Okay, well, I mean, we don't have anything else. I mean, I did keep a land that was just a hand that was just so full of land that this control deck's going to get all the opportunity in the world to do anything and everything he ever wanted to do. But we'll be alright. Maybe. Probably should have Blossoming Defense that. And again, I've got nothing, so I'm not really interested in fighting. Oh yeah, now he's like, what? What is going on? Black, green, red, white, what? We're a blue land from just having all 5 colors. Black, red, white, green. Blue land gives us all 5 colors. I would love to like top deck, I don't know, Jodah or something like that. It's not going terrific for us here, but it's not going overly bad. He hasn't done anything yet. Probably should have saved the creature. Maybe. I mean, he does have double blue now, which is a problem. Well, at least I would have been able to draw cards here with a Rishkar's expertise, but yeah. Right now I'd cast it and we'd do nothing. We would do nothing. But guys, I mean, seriously, if this would have been like a red deck or anything like that, we would have just been dead. So one, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Are we on turn 7? Wow, we're on turn 7 and we've cast Drover and could have cast Blossoming Defense on it. That's unfortunate. The good news is, once we do try to go off, it should be great. I mean, we have to be getting to the point where we can cast almost anything and everything. I mean, we've got 8 mana. 3, 6, yeah. We haven't missed a land drop so far. He's just going to consign it? Sure. I played it just because I had nothing else to play anyway. Cast Oblivion on me. I don't care. First to 20 lands wins, right? If I hit 20 lands on turn 20, I'm scooping. Just, he instantly wins. Like, if he hasn't killed me by then, well, we're going for it. We are going for that first to 20 lands. So, when do the Gearhulks start dropping? When does the Scarab God come down? There's a Glimmer. So he's trying to get his hand full again. Or trying to get to the point where he can flip the search for Escanta. Man, this has just been a... Like, I expected I would have drawn something else. Oh yeah, we're at 23. We're winning now. I mean, like, doesn't there just, like, have to be a creature at this point? Alright, well, he's going to get to flip it. Ooh, must be a good card. Cast down. Okay. Nope, MTGO makes the next to impossible to happen. You're probably right. Let's try to cast something. I mean, if he doesn't counter it. What are we playing? We're playing a mono green 5-color deck. He's going to disallow that. Alright. Okay. Hey, at least we're starting to hit threats. Like, if every turn from here forward we can start drawing threats, we may be okay. He only has so many cards that actually answer threats. He's got a lot of cards that allow him to find the proper answer for the proper threat. So, like, I just want to start top decking until we finally land something. Brought to you by MTGO. A staring contest, right? This staring contest has been brought to you by MTGO. He's doing this in his main phase. He's main phasing a Supreme Will. To look at the top 4 cards of his library. Let's try it. I mean, we'll play a Wayward Sword too. Does he have the scatter? Oh, come on, dude. Come on. Alright. Whatever. 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 So we can go red, blue, white. Play Jodah. I mean, he's got 7 cards in hand. Alright, well, I'm just gonna pass. Alright, so we're gonna turn off auto yields. So I'm gonna cast this. Again, we're turning off auto yields. So we're gonna go ahead and try to make it hexproof. And if the hexproof survives, is he looking for another answer to it? Okay. Alright guys, so we're going to draw some cards. We might be able to get back into this game. He got a Liliana Death's Majesty. We're hexproof. We got a 6/5. Alright, so... we don't need to do that. We'll just cast it normally. Alright, so yeah. And now we can put a spell from our hand onto the battlefield. Yeah. Let's do some of this stuff. Okay, here we go. We might be able to get back into this, guys. This might be coming back around. And just think, if I'd have spent that blossoming defense on this Drover of the Mighty, where would we have been? Wow, he's doing that on his turn yet again. What are you gonna make me discard 2 cards? Okay. So making me discard 2 cards is okay. I mean, I can get rid of a Llanowar Elf. Oh, he's just gonna bounce the Thrawn Temporal Gateway. Okay, well that's fine too. We'll take the 5. And now I am gonna just I'm gonna cast Thrawn Temporal Gateway again and see if we can get him to tap out. I mean, if he's got a way to deal with it for 2 mana, then that's fine. Now we have quite a few ways to do things. So I'm just gonna Llanowar up here. We'll play a blue source and pass. I think I'll actually swing here. Yeah, let's swing. So one of the things I'm looking at here is when he goes to get rid of my Thrawn Temporal Gateway again, I'm gonna try to get our creature in front of his. Okay, there's a Fatal Push. That's fine. I mean, if that's the kind of things he's been holding, is a bunch of kill spells and stuff, which I don't doubt. He just cast Fatal Push on his own dude. Now he casts Fatal Push on my guy. So he spent 3 Fatal Pushes there. Alright, let's see if we can get a Vraska's Contempt out of him. Alright, so I may put a historic permanent card from my hand onto the battlefield. Does he have a disallow? Oh, wow. He is going to have the disallow. Alright. That's pretty good. So we take 10 here. Let's go ahead and cast this on the island. I'll swing. Three cards left in hand. He knows I have something that I want to put down. So we need to say 4. Double blue, white, colorless. Pull from tomorrow? Nah, let's wait. I mean, this puts us, like, if he has to have a removal for this. If he doesn't have a removal, then, like, if he has removal for our combustible Gear Hulk, then we're dead. Alright, here we go. We're going to try it. I mean, again, this was like, we were so far out of this game not too long ago. There's no way you take it, dude. There's no way you take it. So just give us the 3 cards. Alright, so he would have died. And the Vraska's Contempt. Okay. Well, I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. Like, that's just that. It was a really bad game. Like, I mulliganed, and then we got nothing but lands for, like, ever. I don't think he's going to be expecting these. So, I'm going to get rid of Drover. And Verdant Sun, Zatalpa, New Horizons, and since I'm bringing in the negates, I'll get rid of 1 Blossoming Defense, and just kind of run it back with the Land of War Elves, Gift of Paradise, and then get into our Jodahs and stuff like that. So we'll give it a shot here. I mean, Thrashing Brontodon might be better than Wayward Swordtooth here. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll run Brash. Like, Wayward Swordtooth's a good card, but I'm going to run Brash. Heroic Intervention's better against, like, white decks than it is against black ones, so why didn't he Fatal Push Flying Wizard? He didn't have a creature to leave. His creature didn't leave the battlefield. He couldn't trigger Revolt, so he couldn't Fatal Push it. You have to have Revolt, so I don't think he could trigger Revolt. Maybe I'm wrong, Weldon. Temporal Gateway. Now that you can hardcast anything in the deck, right? Exactly. That's exactly what happens. You have a question. Will Eric play Pauper one day? When it's a regulated format, yeah. Until it's a regulated format, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't like Commander, for example, is not very regulated. I like playing competitive Magic. I like to play Magic that's built within a standard set of rules and things like that. And like the new Brawl format, I'm more likely to play the new Brawl format because it's tied into the rules that are preset by Standard itself already. If there are broken cards in the format, then they're already banned. And there are some majorly broken cards in the Pauper format that are not banned. And Pauper format is another one of those eternal formats where if someone plays, like, you know, cards that were only printed in Portal 3 Kingdoms and no one else can get a hold of those, but they make a really good, like there's a couple commons or something that are just broken from that set. I think those are all in the, like, the mono black control Pauper deck, but it made that Pauper deck actually over $100, and I don't think that that's something that I want out of Pauper, is to have another standard. So I am not really a fan of Pauper. Like, I'm just not. I'm gonna keep. Now, if Pauper was like played and regulated and had a ban list and things like that, then yeah, yeah, I would. What's Pauper? Pauper is just all commons. You can't play anything that's not a common, and it doesn't matter if it's from standard, like, period, if it's ever been printed. Basically, Pauper is like Ponder, Preordain, like, yeah, Ponder, Preordain, do all those things. Brash is a good card. Brash is really good, and I'm hoping to destroy a Search for Azcanta with it. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Otherwise, I want to do some damage to him, and if I don't do that, then I would like to be able to like destroy a Torrential Gearhulk with it or something like that. So you just beat a green-white angel deck. Pretty tough, right? Green-white angels. It sounds pretty mean. So common slivers, probably. There's probably a Pauper sliver deck. I'm gonna say that that's probably a thing. I'm just gonna start enchanting here. Like, we're just going for ramp. I mean, his best way to answer something like a Thrawn Temporal Gateway is to negate it or something like that. So, is this his Search for Azcanta? Not really interested in like, I want to pop that Search for Azcanta, but not yet. I only made the one green because I didn't, like, you save like 2 seconds by not having to click the extra button to get rid of the other mana. You guys are wondering why I didn't make the extra green, just because I could. So he's pitching like Supreme Will. Well, that's good enough that we could actually double green. Double green. Gain more life. Man, we've got the Gifts of Paradise on all the things. Now, he can destroy this one because it's not on a basic, but I'm okay with that. Triple green. Thrashing Brontodon. I mean, if he spends a counterspell here because he knows that we're going to destroy a Search for Azcanta, then I'm okay with that. I mean, we're looking at 7 mana next turn. Probably just going to wait till his turn and just pull for tomorrow for as much as possible. And then if he tries to stop it, he won't have enough mana open to stop a Thrawn Temporal Gateway. So hopefully we'll have something else to actually cast the turn after that. But yeah, 7 mana this turn. That's going to be pretty decent. Angel of Sanction, Lyra, and the Hexproof. Okay, so Shala. That seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. I've only got 3 mana. Pull for 4 won't be horrible. He throws a Vraska's Contempt, casts it down. Do you want to kill my elves? I mean, look at the top card of your library. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an instant or sorcery. Exile the top card of your library. That's not a horrible card. He is tapped down now, though, so we are going to go for it. Blue, blue, and white. Why not? And we're going to do it for 4. So we'll have to discard a card here. I think I'll just get rid of the gateway. We'll end the turn. We can play a Rootbound Crag. We can play blue, blue. And just play our Temporal Gateway. And attack. I mean, we've got a negate. So, like, we've got a little bit of protection here. Salvete, how you doing, sir? Yeah, keeping this one under 2 hours just wasn't going to happen, was it, guys? Up there where you see Subscriber Sunday live gameplay where the thumbnail is, that's where the camera will be. So, we should be getting all that set up. Like the 8th is when we're expected to move in, so everything should be set up here soon. Gift of Paradise. Well, we've hit all the gifts now. All right, Atlanta War beatdown. Let's go. These elves are going to war. Is setting up a stream expensive? No, man. I use a cheap $30 headset. I've got my old desktop that's a refurbished Lenovo. So like, you don't have to have like the most expensive things in the world. Sure, man. You want to go through all of that to bounce my Temporal Gateway when I don't actually have anything? Yeah, I'm okay with that. So let me top deck a Bolus and get that bad boy down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I could kick a Joshua Vest right now. Sure. I mean, we can hardcast anything. I'm not worried about being able to cheat it into play. So if we can get more action out of him for this, then I'm good with that. Let's go, Lana. Lano, going to work. The Lana War beatdown. You can fight with fire lethal with that kind of. You're right. I could. We could just be like, bam! Take a zillion. Take a million, right? Just take a million. The deck's a very interesting deck. Like I'm gonna say that about it. Like, the version that he had posted here, he only had, Blossoming Fence, Heroic Intervention, Naturalize, and Thrashing Brontodon on the sideboard. And he had some cards that he was interested in, Grow from the Ashes, Kamala's Druidic Vow. I actually don't know much about this card, but it's a legendary sorcery. You know, you look at the top X cards of your library, you may put any number of them, any number of land and or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X onto the battlefield. So, like, if you can cast X for a huge number, then that would be awesome, but you're not going to get that off of, like, a Thrawn or something. Zakama was in here, and Geshath was in here, so he definitely had some good stuff there. Liliana. Is he going to get back that Torrential Gearhulk? He's getting back that Torrential Gearhulk. What are you going to do with that Torrential Gearhulk, sir? Now that you got it, what are you getting? Maybe I should have countered the Lily. Wow. I should have countered the Lily. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Keep my forest. Make him think that last card in my hand is very important. Oh, he's gonna fight. He fought over my negate to make me discard this forest. Let's see what happens. What are we getting rid of? Mountain. I'm going to play the forest. I'm going to play the Land of War Elves. And I'm going to pass. Okay. And we're still at 32 life here, so... And... that's pretty good. There went our Land of War Elves. I mean, he's got 3 cards left. I think we Combustible Gearhulk can hold up Settle. He's an energy short from being able to bring things back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can cast Bolus and hold up Settle, but not be able to Settle and negate. If we cast Combustible Gearhulk, we can hold up Settle and negate. So I'm going to go double red. And I'm going to cast Combustible Gearhulk here. So, I mean, this will be extremely hard for him to deal with. And we've already played our land for the turn, so... I mean, he may just turn things sideways. Cast down. Got me. You got me. And he's doing other things. Like, he's playing like a Teferi deck. Oh, wow. Alright. No. I'll take the hit. We hit Essence, Scatter, Land. His deck's meant to be cheap spells to deal with us, so I mean, unless I would have hit like Gearhulk, Demon Lord, then, you know. Should have negated that lily. I should have negated the lily. We'll see if he has an answer for the settle. No answer for the settle. Okay. He's got 3 cards in hand. Let's go Woodland Cemetery. I think it's time to cast Bolus. So we got a black, a red. We'll go blue, colorless, colorless. And we're going to have him exile 2 cards from his hand. And again, we're just going to hold up, settle, and negate again. So that's his. That's the plan. So let's check and see what he exiled. He exiled Vraska's Contempt, Fatal Push. Nice, 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 nice. I assume that he's just going to swing for 8 at Bolus. So Vraska's Contempt on Bolus. Now, the reason I used this mana and not these is because this is the one that he can Field of Ruin. And I don't want him to be able to Field of Ruin after we get into combat. Alright, so if I would have used one of these, he could have then Field of Ruin this, then entered combat, and still would have been able to finish Bolus in combat. So that is the main reason I use this one now. Alright, so that, like, some of you may see that interaction, may not, like, but that's why I used that particular mana in that particular case. So, where's my chat? I can't see chat. Alright, so I've negated his Vraska's Contempt at Bolus. So I assume Bolus, like everything swings at Bolus here. Bolus, Bolus. So I have to cast the Settle the Wreckage. No white lands. No white lands, and we're settling. We're negating. I'm going to say that I'm actually really happy that the only 2 cards I put into this deck was I put 4 copies of negate and 3 copies of settle, and I think that they're necessary. I definitely think they're necessary. He's got 2 cards left. Yeah, I want him to exile both of them. Let's see what he has. Let's see what he exiles. Oh, he's just going to disallow the ability. Okay, well, Llanowar Elf. Go. Torrential Gearhulk into Vraska's Contempt. Come on. Really? It's consistency, man. Is there a place I buy tickets cheaper than $1? Yeah. Actually, manatraders will... You gotta buy so many of them before they get cheaper, but manatraders actually will offer you tickets cheaper than $1. And check this out, guys. Like, if you go to the builder and you click that you want to rent something, this is a new feature manatraders got, right? Let's say I wanted to rent this deck, right? And when I click rent, it'll automatically ask you, do you want to buy some event tickets? 0, 5, 10, 25? And you can just automatically queue up. When they deliver you your cards, they'll deliver you the tickets as well. So, like, if you're like, I'm going to rent this deck, which, you know, will come off of your rental service. I'm going to rent this deck, and then I'm going to just jump into a league with it. So they'll even give you the cards you need for the league. So, come on. So that's why he had to disallow it. His last card was a Torrential Gearhulk. I mean, we're not out of this. We could top deck like a pull from tomorrow and just like go ham. We could do this. Now we can play anything for 5. Oh, you got a Essence Scatter for that, right? There you go. Because that was the most important creature in my deck to counter. We're definitely going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He even consigned our Lana War Elf. He's like, I'm going to make him get rid of that Lana War Elf next turn. I wonder if he oblivions us and makes us get rid of the Lana. Boy, a pull from tomorrow would be nice right now to refill our hand with. Man, old Bolus. We was trying to do work. Now, unfortunately, all we're getting is land. Oh, man. That's rough. This is rough. I mean, we're getting to see what the deck does, but we're also getting to see what a deck that is just built to be consistent does. This guy is consistently going to have a decent counter spell or a decent kill spell. And that's basically it. Like, that's all the deck is full of, is just decent, not decent, the best kill spells, the best counter spells. He does run Moment of Craving. I actually expect this Moment of Craving is probably out of the sideboard or something to kill our dorks and stuff, but maybe not. Just good counter spells, negates, Essence Scatters. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be it. I don't know what to say about this deck, guys. Like, I mean, it's a 273 ticket deck. Yeah, 273 tickets here on manatraders. So, like, that's fairly, it's fairly expensive, right? Also, here, we'll go ahead and turn our cards in. So you just click that button, and then all of a sudden the bot will come to you and pick up the cards. But the deck's really interesting, and it does functionally work. I don't know how well I'm going to say that it works, but it was really good to see a take on Thrawn Temporal Gateway, because I haven't gotten a chance to start building with it yet, and it reminds me so much of Quicksilver Amulet, which is a card that I truly loved in the past. So I'm excited to see the Temporal Gateway like in Standard. I'm excited to see it, and I just want to play with it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, more builds and stuff like that come from Temporal Gateway, and hopefully we'll get to play some Jank, like get to, you know, slam some instant speed Bolus, like, you know, Vraska's at the end of their turn and things like that. So yeah, really cool interactions with, you know, the Thrawn Temporal Gateway. It's one of the few cards that I own. You know, it's a rare, and it was one of the cards I said, hey, look, I really like that card. I'm gonna own my copies of that card, even online. And I did that with only a few of the rares from Dominaria, but I think I now own like all the commons and uncommons from Dominaria, and I'm gonna start trying to do that from every set forward. But yeah, this deck was really interesting. I kind of like what you got going on. I have no clue where to tell you to go as far as, you know, brewing on it. And I seen your comments there on the Reddit. Like, I don't even think you're really looking for suggestions. You're more like, let's see if this works. But it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. And I definitely think if you are going to try it, with the number of, you know, Gift of Paradise and New Horizons you have in the deck, throw those negates and settle the wreckages in the sideboard. And don't tell me that, You know, those are expensive. Settle the Wreckage is expensive. You got Bolas and Zatalpa. Like, I know these aren't like the most expensive cards in the world, but you do have some fairly expensive cards in here. More so like in the land base with, you know, the Hinterland Harbors, Rootbound Crags and stuff. But I think you can afford to put the 3 settles in the side if you're going to play something like this. But the part that I like about it is it showed us that things like this can work. Whether they do work, it does show us that they can, and against certain matchups we can put up a heck of a fight. So it was a lot of fun. Overall, guys, I had a lot of fun playing all of these decks tonight. So, you know, the one we got from Dragon Lord and the one from RazorAxis, you know, all of these were great decks. The mono green the mono green deck from Jello Smurf. Thank you very much for your mono green 5-color Thran Temporal Gateway Instant Speed Nickel Bolas. Man, I don't know what else. Ramp deck, ramp control deck. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Remember, you can support the channel on Patreon. You can support the channel by helping yourself out when you sign up for manatraders using the link below. When you do sign up, though, even if you do use the link or don't use the link, save yourself 15% on your first 3 months. Go over there, and when you go to sign up, it'll ask you for your coupon. Use Sideboardmtg15. It'll save you 15% first 3 months. Come on, that'll buy you a Karn, or that'll buy you some pretty lands. It'll buy you something. Either way, guys, my name's Eric. This is Sideboardmtg. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. If you're new to the community, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Show us some love. Show these people who built their decks and posted them over on the Reddit some love. We've got Infinite Squee coming up on the Reddit. For the Horde's going to be posting that, so I'm excited to see what For the Horde's got coming with his Infinite Squee. Cody, good night, sir. Yeah, the Temporal Gateway was really sweet, and I would like to see it in a build that was a little more serious. And I don't want to like say anything, you know, like Jank Master Jodah, like he knew that this was not a serious deck. He mentioned it in the comments. He was trying to have a lot of fun. So yeah, it looks like it's fun, and I had some fun playing it. Like, I just wish we would have gotten more threats against this this mono red deck, or this that control deck. And I'm glad we didn't run into mono red, honestly. So get over to the Reddit, post your decks, vote on decks. Guys, my name's Eric, Sideboardmtg. I had a lot of fun. Hope you had fun. Stick around for the credits, and we'll see you next time. Tomorrow, we've got Red-Green Elves for a Devs deck. We're playing Devs deck tomorrow night. And we should have a lot of fun with that as well. Oh, man. Oh, no. Wrong one. No. Yeah, no. Alright, there we go. Have fun, guys. See you next time here on Sideboardmtg. Let's do a little bit of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. A little Max Confession.